Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really. Pardon the Politics Podcast. My brother Manny, what's your spotlight of the week?
So my spotlight's coming back to North Carolina. I guess staying in North Carolina following. But it is about North Carolina House Bill 1200, the Tax-Free Family Essentials Act. So right now, there is a NC House bill that would eliminate sales tax on baby wipes, prenatal vitamins, feminine hygiene products, diapers, and over-the-counter medicines for kids under 12. And this week it's past its first reading that happened back in May. And this week it is actually supposed to go to the Finance Committee. Now I've had some talks to some people regarding this. This bill will change a little bit. They're removing over-the-counter children's medicine and prenatal vitamins. I'll get to that piece in a second. But largely, so right now, if of everything that was listed, only diapers were tax exempt if it was prescribed through the North Carolina Medicaid program and it was reimbursed by the state. But like with most plans where there's a financial limit, you make $1 over, you're no longer applicable to be able to get it. So this bill would take care of that. And you're talking about the average annual diaper spend per infant per year is almost around $1,000 to $1,200. So you think about that. That is a tax hit of somewhere between 68 to 75, even higher, depending on, and that's just basic diapers. So you're talking about giving almost close to $100 back to young families who are already being pressed by the cost of healthcare, the cost of childcare, food costs, on top of feminine hygiene products. Obviously need for every woman. So to be able to provide that necessity without adding a tax on it. These aren't luxury goods that we're talking about. These are things that are needed and are necessary. So I think this is an awesome opportunity for North Carolina to join it. I believe there's 25 other states that have released a tax on feminine products. So we would be joining that number. And again, the tampon, they call it the tampon tax. It's been a debate since the 90s. So the resistance that a lot of states have had against this has been the hit to revenue. And in the state of North Carolina, several representatives here, Mike Sheetzel, Representative Ryan, Representative Campbell, and Representative Chesser, have all said, hey, the revenue gained from this, while important to North Carolina, isn't more important than taking care of people's needs. You know, these are not luxury goods. This is not buying high-end things for no reason. We all need this. So it's getting ready to head to committee, and we'll see what happens in committee. Now, the one thing I wanted to circle back on, the over-the-counter kids medicine and the prenatal vitamins. So in prep for this, there is a there is a pact called the Streamlined Sales and Use Tax Agreement. It is a multi-state compact that basically standardizes sales tax definitions so businesses that operate in different states have consistent rules they can measure it. So that way, hey, product X is not in this category in this state, in this category in another state. So it standardizes this. Part of the reasons why over-the-counter medicines and prenatal were taken off is because those are two of the categories that are impacted by this. Now, over-the-counter drug exemptions is something that other states have done, but it would take some additional action. So what I've been told is that, you know, this is something they'll look at within a study bill, but they're not quitting on over-the-counter medicine or prenatal vitamins. That they do plan on filing additional bills to try to figure out what they can do to take care of these needs. But I think this is something really important that we're taking a step forward in. I think a lot of times when we talk about North Carolina, unfortunately, on this podcast, we're talking about things that we're doing wrong. Here is an example of North Carolina really doing something that is important to our citizens and really a step forward. So congratulations to us for doing that, and thank you to the representatives who are pushing this forward. So like I said, finance is the next step for this bill, and we'll see what happens in finance, and then it'll go to rules and then to the floor for a vote. We'll see if this gets taken care of, though, in this session before everyone breaks for summer and breaks to go run campaigns. But that is my spotlight of the week.
All right, brother.
Brother, being the contrarian that I am, although I see the progress in them trying to make this tax free, I truly believe many of these items, if not all, should be at no cost to these individuals. Like you said, feminine hygiene products are a necessity. Diapers are a necessity. Now, prenatal vitamins, I have my own argument against that because anyway, it's just yes, it's progress in not taxing them, but we can spend millions upon millions of dollars on political ads during campaign cycles, and these different groups and packs and factions can kick out millions and millions of dollars, but then want to run and say, oh, the revenue and funding for these necessities again, not luxuries, not fun items, but certain necessities. Yeah, and you know what? I had a young lady learn me on this because in my adolescent years, yeah, she learned me because in my adolescent years, I was a treacherous and terrible individual to my sister, and when she had her menstrual period, I used to pick with her and give her a hard time about it. This is, I'm 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Spake as a child, when I was a child, I spake as a child.
You read about
when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Mm-hmm.
But she put it to me in the notion of how would you respond if we did not have these feminine hygiene products and we walked around without them? That time period is natural. There's nothing outside of surgery. There's nothing they can do about it. But they are forced to pay for things to allow them to function. Not even go outside and play, not even leisure hang out, to function on a day-to-day in life. And when she put it to me that way, because the argument was of them having to pay for it, and I was like, well, I mean, why not? And then she broke it down like that. And that's why I say she learned me, because, and I was like, you know what? That is a very strong argument of, why do we have to pay for these things? And then you turn around and you have these different instances where there are reports that some of the material in some of these products have caused ovarian cancer to some women. And it further cements that argument of what are we doing? So
be careful. No, somebody listening to this might say that you sound progressive.
Well, I think then that becomes an argument of how much of our elections should be privately versus publicly funded.
Oh, you already know how.
And that's a whole nother podcast. So, but yeah, I hear you.
But dope spotlight though. Dope spotlight.
Yeah. Brother Chuck, what you got?
All right, I'm not gonna be as intense as my brothers, although they have some fantastic spotlights. Particularly as you hear, areas that I've had an interest in and have a strong opinion about. We already know where we went with education, and then the diatribe I just had. My spotlight is on the World Cup though.
Hey.
But it's been a fantastic time. I think I mentioned before how much fun I've had and everything that's going on. But my spotlight is going to shine bright on our African nations that are participating in the World Cup. And as we have moved out of the group stage at the time of this recording, there were 9 countries out of the 10 African nations that qualify for the World Cup. And those 9 that qualify, well, I'll give y'all 10: Tunisia, Morocco, Ivory Coast, DR Congo, Senegal, Algeria, Egypt, Cape Verde, Ghana, and South Africa were the 10. The only ones who did not qualify for the knockout round was Tunisia. And I just want to say it's been amazing because most of these teams were an afterthought to make it to the knockout stages. Morocco was thought to be a shoe-in because they are the number 7 ranked team in FIFA, and they were in the semifinals of the last World Cup. Senegal was given a shot to make it to the knockout stages as there, if you were not aware, a legal controversy between Senegal and Morocco for the AFCON championship, where Senegal won on the field, Morocco won after the fact, and then there's a court case. But everybody else really wasn't given a whole lot of chance to make it past the group stage. And at a 90% clip, that's freaking awesome. And then I like to drill a little further as me living in Atlanta and Atlanta being a host city and we being lit and having the most amazing atmosphere during this World Cup. And the numbers speak behind it. We had the largest participation of fan fest participants as of days ago, which is numbers probably higher now. We were at 250,000 people who had visited the Atlanta Fan Fest, far exceeding any other fan fest of any other host city. But in that, we've had 4 African nations that have played in Atlanta. And if you know anything about Atlanta, here in America, we call Atlanta the Black Mecca. And there's many reasons for that. If you don't know, go look it up. I'm not about to hear and give it to you. But those 4 teams that have played here, those 4 African nations that play here, DR Congo, Cape Verde, Morocco, and South Africa. Well, they fared very well while they were here. The first one that happened that was a big surprise, and I'm sorry, Jeezy, for this, but Cape Verde pulled off a huge upset. And the reason why it was a huge upset is because they drew 0-0 with Spain. And Spain is the European champions. And not only to draw them, but to draw them at a scoreless draw and gain a point when many people thought it would be a shooting contest for Spain and just practice. That was a huge win for Cape Verde, and they allowed them to get their first point in the history of the World Cup for them. But you also had South Africa play Czechia here in Atlanta afterwards, and they secured a 1-1 draw, which was a crucial point because, again, like I said, that team was thought to be at worst or at best a third place team in the group, but not really having the option to move on to the knockout stages. So that was a crucial point for them. Then you have Morocco and Haiti. And as I said, Morocco was already looked to have been one of the few African nations to move forward. And, they had a 4-2 win here. And then on the 27th, the DR Congo, fighting for their life, put a rousing and amazing performance up against Uzbekistan in a 3-1 victory to seal their fate and moving on to the knockout stage and giving them their first ever World Cup win. And the last time that they were in the World Cup, I want to say was 50-something years ago when they were under colonial rule as Zaire. So in that, I myself has deemed the Mecca of America for these African nations connecting with the Black Mecca of America and the diaspora of our ancestry as Black Americans. I don't say African American because we're not all belonging to one whole continent. You don't call Irish Americans European Americans. So I'm not going to say African American, but as a Black American, just the connection to Africa in these countries of Africa and the diaspora, it's very exciting to me to see these countries come to Atlanta and perform very well and exceed expectations. And the World Cup is just rocking right now. At the time of this recording, South Africa is battling Canada to move on to the round of 16, further cementing. Like I said, they were seen as an afterthought, and many pundits actually argued that the tournament had expanded too far and diluted the quality of play. For those who don't know, this was the first tournament to have 48 teams in the tournament. So going to the round of 32, generally after group play, we went to a round of 16.
Yep.
And so getting to the round of 32, the top two teams advanced, and then there was 8 of the third place teams, of the best finishing third place teams, got to advance. I truly believe they're going to move to a round of 64 total entrants in the tournament. So that way the top 2 teams in each group can move on to field your round of 32, which will make it a lot easier. But this tournament has been very, very amazing. So that's my spotlight, man.
Yeah, definitely have enjoyed the World Cup, and shout out to those teams because they certainly came in as an afterthought, as my brother said, and they are putting on. They're putting on for their people. I love it. All right, well, to round it out, I will give my spotlight to conclude, and my spotlight of the week is going to go to Texas. The Texas State Board of Education has approved a new statewide reading list that will require Bible passages to be taught in public schools beginning in 2030. Now, supporters say it's about recognizing the Bible's role in American history and literature. But critics argue the government is crossing the line into religion. Now, some people may expect me as a Christian, and if you don't know, I'm a Christian. I am.
And you haven't been listening to the pod very closely.
Clearly you don't listen to the pod because this is quite my Lord Savior is very central in my life. So you would think that I would stand and cheer this on, but actually I'm not. And I'm gonna explain why I'm not too fond of this. I believe the word of God is the greatest truth ever given to mankind. Yep. I believe it changes lives, and I believe every person should hear the gospel. But I do not believe the government should force it on people, period. The gospel has always been spread through conviction, not coercion. Jesus invited people to follow him. He did not have the Roman government mandate scripture reading. That didn't happen. Faith is not faith if it's forced. It's just compliance. And I don't understand why people think that this is okay. We are Christianity is becoming a political weapon instead of transforming lives. So we're missing the whole entire point of the gospel. The First Amendment, if you don't know, protects the free exercise of religion, but it also prevents the government from establishing one religion over everyone else, which is very weird because it seems like that's what we're trying to push towards, making Christianity the one dominant religion in America. And as a Christian, I just can't get by with that. You know, if Texas is starting to mandate Bible, passages, what's next? What if another state decides to implement a different religion and make that happen, and it goes against the ideology and of the fundamental aspect of the gospel? What do we do then? Is that okay? I just don't think that this is right. I really don't. And I think that as Christians, our mission was never to win people by legislation. That's not how you do it. What we're supposed to be doing, which it seems like we're getting further and further away from, is learning to love our neighbor, to just preach the gospel to those that want to hear it, to live lives that make people want to know Christ. It's not about the government. We don't need the government to help us spread the gospel. That's our job as Christians, to live in the way that Christ lived, exemplify Christ-like attributes to those that we meet, love our neighbors. Those are the things we're supposed to be doing, not forcing it to be read in classrooms. So I don't support forcing scripture in public schools. And it's not because I don't love the Bible. I do. God knows I do. But I love it too much to want it to be reduced to another government requirement. That's not how the word of God is. So Texas, I get it. You call yourself Christians and you want this passed in your public schools. But just think for just 1 second. Is this truly what the gospel stands for? Christ never, in all that we read, never forced the word on a single soul. The Ethiopian eunuch that was reading the word didn't understand what he was reading. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Paul was traveling and saw him and asked him, did he understand? He said, no, I need somebody to point it out to me. He kindly sat with that man, explained the gospel, and later baptized that man. That Ethiopian eunuch wasn't forced into the word. The conviction of the word grabbed him. The Lord sent us someone that could help him, and he met Christ that day. That's how the gospel operates. Not by legislation, not by force. So I don't agree with this. And if you agree with this as a listener, I would love to talk to you and understand how you as a Christian think that this is the right thing to do when we never, and Christ never forced his word on us. So that's my spotlight, man.
The great battle between being a red letter Christian versus a red hat Christian.
Ooh, brother.
And my issue with it is the sound doctrine and the studying of the word to be able to read and convey and provide that sound doctrine to students.
Bro, like we talked about on this podcast before, just like Ted Cruz. The reason I support Israel because the Bible tells us whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whoever curses Israel will be cursed. You need to go back.
Context is important.
That ain't Benjamin Netanyahu's Israel.
You need to go reread, brother. You need you reading, but you don't understand.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
Study to show thyself approved.
Yes, sir. So I have a problem with this because this ain't the way you do it. If anything, you're gonna push people further away from the word. That's why you don't force it. You let the heart open and receive it. And this ain't receiving it, bro. So
be a disciple. Be a disciple.
Woo, brother.
Simple as that.
More worried about trying to force it down. If you just live it, you wouldn't have to force it. But that's all. I ain't gonna pull out the I ain't gonna pull out the collection plate this Sunday. But Texas, this ain't right. And for other states, I hope that you don't follow suit. Because you can open a door to something that can have some real serious implications and can hurt the word. Well, you can't hurt the word. The word is living and breathing. You can't do nothing to it. But you certainly can make the experience of those seeking Christ a lot worse and a lot harder than what it has to be. Yep. So, yeah, that's my spotlight of the week, man. So, to our listeners, we've reached the conclusion of this episode, and if you stayed and lend us your ear for the duration of the episode, we appreciate it. We thank you for tuning in. As always, like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that. Reach one, teach one, bring a friend. There's wings and there's drink in the back. Make yourself at home. Get comfortable. Pull up a chair. We got folded chairs, and they're the good ones. You ain't got to worry about sitting
with the
down
padding on it.
Yeah, we got the padding, and it'll fit. It'll suit you just fine. Some of them chairs you got to ease down in a little.
Yeah, ease down. So don't know.
Not here. You can be comfortable.
That thing can collapse with you.
So we thank you for tuning in. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you come back and join us for the next episode. And as we always say here at the pod, if don't nobody love you, just know the boys hit the pod. I promise you, we love you.
Love
We
y'all.
love you. We love you. Brother, all heart and minds clear.
Yeah.
All here.
All right. I enjoy the World Cup. And again, as I said at the beginning of the episode, happy Pride Month, President Trump.
Donald Trump.
Enjoy for your pride. We love you. Take care, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello. Frank. Welcome to Part in the Politics podcast. We back. I'm back. Really? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.